All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are tackling a big one, something a lot of you have probably thought about, hosting WordPress on Microsoft Azure. Now, on paper, it sounds amazing, right? A super powerful combination. But, as many of you might have already discovered, trying to actually do it can feel like you've been dropped into this incredibly complex, confusing maze. Well, don't worry. We're here to hand you the map.
So yeah, let's just dive right in. The whole idea of running WordPress on Azure's infrastructure, the potential is just massive. But the reality? Well, the reality is that it's this powerful but super complex maze. It's not one choice, it's 100 choices, and each one seems to have its own hidden traps and tricky trade-offs.
Okay, so first things first, let's really get a handle on what this maze looks like. Because deploying WordPress on Azure, it's not just one decision. It's really a whole series of different paths you can take. And trust me, if you don't know the territory, it is so easy to get lost. All right, let's start by exploring what we'll call the native paths. These are the deployment methods offered directly by Azure itself. You can kind of think of these as the official, well-marked routes through that maze. So path number one. This is let's call it the do-it-yourself route. We're talking about building everything from the ground up on Azure virtual machines. It's like Azure hands you a plot of land and a huge pile of raw materials. But here's the catch. You have to be the architect, the engineer, and the entire construction crew. And you can see the trade-off right here, and it is stark. On the one hand, the pros are pretty tempting, right? You get full, total control over every little piece of the stack. But man, look at those cons. That is a heavy price. Almost everything is manual, the chance of misconfiguring something is super high, and if you need to scale, forget about it. It's slow, it's painful, and it's just a recipe for errors. Okay, so what about option two? This is Azure App Service. Now, this is Microsoft's platform as a service solution. So the idea here is that Azure takes care of the servers, the operating systems, all that underlying stuff for you. And that sounds like a pretty big help, doesn't it? And yeah, it definitely is easier in some ways. But here's the kicker. The really crucial part is what's still left on your plate. Environment management is, well, it's pretty basic. They have this thing called staging slots. But if you want a real professional development workflow, spinning up environments to test new features, that's all on you. Your team has to build and manage all of that manually.
All right, our third path. This is where we get into the big leagues, containers. We're talking about Azure Kubernetes Service, or AKS. Now, this is the go-to choice for ultimate scalability and that true cloud-native power. This thing is designed for absolutely massive, super demanding workloads.
But, and this is a huge but, all that power comes at a really steep price. We're talking about a massive maintenance burden. You need people with deep, specialized Kubernetes skills on your team. It takes a ton of time just to get the thing set up in the first place. And guess what? You're still on the hook for building all of your own CI/CD pipelines from scratch.
Okay, last but not least, let's look at option 4. This is Microsoft's own official reference architecture. They call it their enterprise-ready blueprint. It's supposed to be for mission-critical WordPress sites that need top-notch security and availability. So you'd think, okay, this has got to be the best-case scenario, right?
And, well, it is scalable and secure, for sure. But just look at those cons. It is hugely complex to actually build. You have to manually stitch together dozens of different Azure services. The ongoing cost and maintenance are through the roof. And see if this sounds familiar. Just like every other option, every single one of your dev environments has to be custom built from the ground up by your team. So, okay, we've walked through all these native paths, and you're probably starting to see a pattern here, right? A clear theme is emerging. It feels like there's this hidden tax you have to pay, and it doesn't matter which route you take. And this right here, this is that tax.
The common denominator is just a mountain of manual work. Every single path we looked at requires you to have these deep DevOps and Azure skills. And what does that lead to? Slow, error-prone deployments, totally fragmented team workflows, and this constant, heavy burden of just maintenance. You're always scripting, you're always building custom solutions, you're always fighting complexity.
So this brings us to a really critical turning point in our little journey. Now that we've really defined the problem, it's time to ask a very simple but really powerful question. What if What if you could get all the incredible power of Azure, that global scale, the security, the whole shebang, for your WordPress site, but without having to pay that awful tax? Without all the manual complexity, the custom scripting, and that never-ending maintenance? Well, this is where we finally find that clear path out of the maze. Let's talk about a solution that was designed from day one to solve these exact problems we've been talking about. Let's talk about DevPanel. So what exactly is it? The simplest way to think about it is this. DevPanel is a control panel that sits right on top of your Azure account, and its entire reason for existing is to automate the complete software development lifecycle for WordPress. You know, from the moment a developer writes a line of code all the way to deployment. It's built to eliminate all that manual work we just spent so much time on. Okay, this chart right here, this is everything. Just look at the difference, it's night and day. On the typical Azure path, you're doing manual scripts for your development workflows. With DevPanel, it's fully automated. What about getting a preview environment for a new feature? On Azure, it's a manual, limited process. With DevPanel, it's literally one click, and it's automatic. And things like cloud dev environments or actual hands-on expert support, they're not even on the menu with the native Azure approach, but here, they're just included. It's a total game changer. So let's break down what that automation actually looks like in practice. First, right out of the box, it automatically creates your standard dev, stage, and prod environments for you. Second, and for development teams, this is huge, every single Git branch gets its own live, testable preview environment with a single click. No joke. Third, it gives you cloud-based coding environments, so you can finally kill that whole, well, it works on my machine problem forever. And finally, it pulls everything together and centralizes all your workflows. Okay, so the big question now is probably, is this for me? Who is this actually for? Let's take a look at how this automated approach fits a few different kinds of teams. This should help you find your fit pretty easily. Let's say you're a small team. Well, DevPanel gives you a professional-grade development lifecycle without you needing to hire a dedicated, expensive DevOps expert. Or maybe you're at a large enterprise. For you, it's all about getting predictable, automated workflows that take the risk out of deployments. For an agency, it's a dream. Central templates, easy multi-site rollouts. And honestly, for just about anyone who knows things can sometimes go wrong, that built-in, hands-on emergency support is a lifesaver. And really, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It all comes back to eliminating that complexity tax we talked about. The whole point is to let you get all the incredible benefits of modern, powerful infrastructure, but without the massive headache, the cost, and the sheer effort of having to build and maintain it all yourself. So, as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one thought. The question you should be asking isn't just how to host WordPress on Azure. It's not about picking an option from a technical diagram. The real question is this: who should be managing all that complexity? Should it be your team burning their valuable time and energy on infrastructure? Or should it be your tools doing all that heavy lifting for them through automation? And that right there is the clear path we've been searching for through the maze. It's the ability to have that truly modern, secure, resilient WordPress infrastructure running on a world-class cloud like Azure, but completely without the burden of having to build it, script it, and maintain it all yourself. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.